What's up, guys? Today I'll be going over the Blood Reaver familiar. You can summon this with 73 summoning, and it is an ancient summoning familiar. Blood Reavers are found outside of the next bank area in the Godwars dungeon, and kill one with a binding contract in your inventory to get a pouch. So what does this familiar do? It's a magic familiar, but a lot of its damage comes from its passive. Its passive is that it does damage equal to 25% of whatever you heal. This covers most healing sources like eating food, soul split, vampirism, aura, and scrimshaw, and Excalibur. The Blood Reaver's special attack also heals you. It transfers 10% of its max HP to you, which is 830 HP. From this example, the special would deal 207.5 damage. Any damage that the familiar does with its passive is typeless damage. From testing, it appears that the passive only deals damage based on the HP restored, rather than the HP you would have healed. If you were using Soul Split at full HP, the passive would deal no damage. If you only healed 1000 from eating a rocktail, the passive would only deal 25% of 1000 rather than 25% of 2300. This trait alone would already make this familiar fairly niche, since other familiars already outclass the Reaver's damage. Let's do some math in a perfect scenario. In a dummy test, I am able to do about 1 million damage in 5 minutes, equaling 200k damage per minute, and I can do about 11 million damage in 1 hour at each Godwars Dungeon 2 boss, equaling about 183k damage per minute. In some parts of a boss fight, you can deal 300k damage per minute or more in a short burst, but we'll just take a look at a long sustainable period of time. Let's take 200k damage per minute as a threshold. 200k damage a minute is 6,000 damage every global cooldown, or 1.8 seconds. We'll assume we deal 1 attack every global cooldown. Now we bring in our healing source, Soul Split, which heals us up to 10% of the damage dealt and has diminishing returns. The 6,000 damage we deal under Soul Split is 325 HP healed, since if a player deals 6,000 damage, they would be healed 10% of the first 2,000, then 5% of the next 2,000, then 1.25% of the final 2,000, for a total heal of 325. In 1 minute, that's 10,832 HP healed, so 2,708 damage dealt with the Blood Reaver. This is the case in which Soul Split is your sole source of healing, which is abysmal. In comparison, Ripper Demons deal at least 10k damage per minute with just auto attacks. Now let's go over when you have food. You can eat 1 piece of food every 1.8 seconds or 33.33 per minute. You only have access to a maximum of 28 inventory slots because you won't have a Beast of Burden. A Shark heals 2000 and a Rocktail heals 2300. So the Reaver passive will do 500 damage and 575 damage respectively. Then there's the Ceradomin Brew, which heals 1000 HP per dose. Ceradomin Brews are used to combo eat, so a Shark Brew is 3000 heal for 750 damage, and a Rocktail Brew is 3300 for 825 damage. Let's look at the case of an inventory of 24 Rocktails and 4 Cera Brew flasks. This would heal you 79,200 health and deal 19,800 damage, all in 43.2 seconds. This amount of damage does beat the Ripper Demon in damage. However, Rocktail brewing every 1.8 seconds will drain your adrenaline heavily reducing your stats, even with overloads. Your character's DPS will suffer since you can't reach the amount of adrenaline needed for thresholds and ultimates. It's simply not worth sacrificing your character's damage output for a small damage boost for your familiar. Whether it's solely using Soul Split or eating an inventory of food, there is never an ideal situation that the Blood Reaver will do enough damage. Each of those cases is assuming you are taking enough damage so you can heal it all back. There is no place that you need to heal 80k HP in under a minute, and the Soul Split heal to damage is simply too small. Healing at full HP will not deal any damage, and I was also not impressed when the Eldritch Crossbow spec does not work with the Blood Reaver. Soul Split normally heals you except when you use the Eldritch Special, so anywhere you can use the spec, just use a different familiar. And in most cases, a Ripper Demon is just better. That's going to be the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.